Hey guys, before I get into this video, I just want to let you know this coming up Saturday, December 5th at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, I'll be debating, I prefer to call it just having a cordial conversation with Anomaly. Now, in case you don't know who Anomaly is, he has a very big audience on Facebook. I think about 953,000 subscribers, about 207,000 subscribers on YouTube. So he's a big influencer in his genre. He puts out, like rap music, and he deals with political events. Now, the topics is going to be, I'm questioning him on why he continues to back somebody like Donald Trump, who has virtually the same identical banker slash corporate policies as Obama before him and Bush before him. Anomaly sees the problems with Donald Trump and still continues to promote the left versus right paradigm. Now, I believe that Anomaly is sincere, but I believe he's sincerely wrong. And it could be, I don't know what Anomaly thinks about me, but I believe that he probably thinks that I'm sincerely wrong. So this is going to be a live stream conversation. If I still have my YouTube channel, it's going to be live streamed on HighImpact Flicks. HighImpact TV, not the HighImpact Flicks channel, but this channel, HighImpact TV. Again, it's going to be Saturday, December 5th at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I may open it up to a live call-in, but we'll definitely be taking your comments. So if you have any comments or questions about it, for either of us, just feel free to drop by. Again, we're going to start at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time sharp, Saturday, December 5th. That's this coming up Saturday. Thank you very much. I will see you guys there. If you know anything about nutrition and exercise, you know that if you want strong bones, ligaments, tendons, muscles, hair, teeth, skin, nails, whatever, you need the 5 types of collagen in your diet. You can grab that through BioTrust. This stuff is awesome, guys. Click on the link in the description. If you don't know anything about it, you can watch a couple of the videos and get up to speed, but do yourself a favor and grab some. The left versus right paradigm line. That's why I'm going to be talking to this guy right here. This is Anomaly. I think the guy means well. I really do. Anomaly, if you're watching this, I really think you mean well. I want to come to the table not to debate, but to try to understand further his continued support for Trump. But I want to play. I'm kind of going off a little bit here, but this is very important. So Anomaly and I are going to do, I'm thinking it's going to be a live stream debate. You guys let me know. Do you want me to do a live stream with Anomaly, or would you rather me do it pre-recorded and just kind of make it more, it's the benefit of pre-recording is that you can make it succinct and get rid of all the fluff in the middle and just keep it all concentrated. The benefit of live streaming is you guys can chime in. We can take comments. We can take comments live. We can do a call in. We can do that. All right. It's going to be Saturday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I'm not sure if I might do it on a live stream if I still have the ability to live stream on YouTube. If not, then I'll do it on D Live. But I think it's going to be good. I want it to be a very good conversation. But where I'm coming from is I've criticized Anomaly, and I'll show you the exact criticism. I went over this yesterday, but I think it bears repeating because I want to be real specific. I think this guy really, really wants to change his world for the better. The unfortunate part about this whole thing is that he sees the way he thinks he's going to make the world better is by being in the corner of President Donald J. Trump, and I disagree. And I can show you proof of the reason that I disagree. It's the exact same reason why I told the Obama people, Obama is not going to make this world better. Don't vote for him. Don't support him, because that's what a vote is. Your vote is your written consent to have somebody rule you and to have that same person rule other people who don't want to be ruled. Voting is just your written consent to continue to be enslaved and stay on the slave plantation. So here's what Anomaly said the other day. He said Trump has been, and keep in mind, Anomaly, I don't know what his real name is. Does anybody know what Anomaly's real name is? So Anomaly is a Trump supporter, but he sees the major problems with Trump. So he says, so he's a staunch supporter of Trump, but he realizes there's some major problems, which in my mind makes him a hypocrite. If you're for freedom, you can't be for Obama. If you're for freedom, you can't be for Biden. And if you're for freedom, you can't be for Trump. If you say you're for freedom and are for any one of those three, Obama, Biden, or Trump, then you're engaging in cognitive dissonance. Freedom and Trump don't go together, just like oil and water don't mix. Same with Obama, same with Biden, same with Harris. If you're looking for these psychopaths to lead you to the land of milk and honey and freedom, you're looking in the way wrong place, man. So he says Trump has been championing Operation Warp Speed. That's a serious problem because Operation Warp Speed is Operation Bill Gates' final solution. Operation Gavi, Operation Lockstep, Operation the Great Reset. This is all part of the Great Reset. When somebody's championing the cause of Operation Warp Speed and the Great Reset and the digital dollar and all this stuff and mandatory vaccines, we're going to talk about the martial law in a little bit. You are advocating for that which is antithetical to true liberty, which is anything that's antithetical to liberty is evil. It's the essence of evil. So whether he knows it or not, he is engaging in a staunch defense and being a staunch defender and promoter and supporter of that which is evil. Donald J. Trump, I would say the same thing to somebody who's for Biden and Obama. Trump has been championing Operation Warp Speed, which is rushing a vaccine into approval, which Anomaly is against, and then using the military to distribute it, which Anomaly is against. This includes an mRNA genetic VAXX that has literally never been approved for human markets. And then he puts out all these, really good, useful pieces of information right here. And then I responded to him, and you have been supporting Trump and making songs for him this whole time. One of his songs, one of his raps that he made for him is, I like Trump. I like Trump. So he likes Trump so much that he made a couple songs for him. He is in the tank for Donald J. Trump, even though he sees the gross hypocritical inconsistencies. This includes mRNA genetic vaccine that has literally never been approved for human markets. I said, making songs for him this whole time while we have been warning people that he's a big pharma banker puppet, which he is. We've demonstrated that. He was bailed out by the Rothschilds International Banking Cartel back in the 90s with Taj Mahal and that whole debacle in Atlantic City. The lead employee for Rothschilds Inc. was Wilbur Ross. 25 years later, when Trump is made president by the banking cartel, because guys, that's how it works. It's not an election process. It's not election. It's selection. So when Trump becomes president, who does he make Commerce Secretary? The very guy who headed up bailing him out at Taj Mahal, Wilbur Ross. Wilbur Ross is a Zio puppet, just like Trump is a Zio puppet. So I asked him to care to explain. He said, hey, let's debate on live stream. And I just want to show you one of the debates that he said he did with this guy, debates a Twitter follower who disagrees with his stance on Trump during the lockdowns. Now get this for irony. This guy right here on the left-hand side who's debating Anomaly actually became a Trump supporter through Anomaly's teachings. So what I'm going to have to tell Anomaly and send this video to him, what I'm going to have to tell you so you can be prepared on Saturday, Anomaly, and I love you, man. I love you. I really want you to get this down. And if I'm wrong, strike me with the sword of truth. What does it say? Wounds from a friend can be trusted, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. An enemy will kiss you and not mean it and have a dagger behind his back ready to stab you. But an enemy, he'll hurt you because he knows that's what you need to get back on the straight and narrow. So here's the deal. This guy on the left is now a Trump supporter because of Anomaly. And now this guy is more of a staunch Trump supporter, completely ignoring all the crap that Trump is doing that's actually bringing tyranny on the land. And Anomaly is actually calling it out, but Anomaly is still supporting Trump. There's the ironic thing. See, Anomaly is actually rightly, in my mind, it's like Anomaly is on the fence here and he doesn't know which way to go, and he is caught. So you can see the strings, almost see the strings of cognitive dissonance, the cables just connected to him, and he's being torn on one side and the other. He wants to be balanced. He wants to be fair. He wants to have devotion to freedom. He calls it devotion to the Constitution. Guys, you don't need to be devoted to the Constitution, because the Constitution is like checking into the cult of personality. The Constitution was written by men. What you need to be devoted to is freedom and truth. Men didn't write truth, and men didn't author freedom. but men did author the Constitution. I'll show you one clause in the Constitution that completely should make any freedom lover puke on it and just throw it in the round file. And that is, Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes. According to the Constitution, yeah, it's in the amendments, but according to the Constitution, it's okay for one group of people to steal from and extort another group of people. Guess what? That is antithetical to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness outlined in the Declaration of Independence. If you're in the tank for the Constitution, or Donald J. Trump, or Obama, or Mike Pompeo, or Ronald Reagan, or whatever, you are in the cult of personality. Do not promote and support any man, because once you do, you are blinded. You put yourself in blind mode. You start funneling, not just sipping. You're not a teetotaler for Kool-Aid. Oh, that is delicious Kool-Aid. You are a funneler of kegs of Kool-Aid. You're not a tea sipper. You're cramming that stuff down your throat as fast as you can. Get out of the cult of personality. Stop drinking the Kool-Aid. Don't follow people. Do your own research. And this is where Anomaly is. He realizes, man, something is way wrong with Trump. And now they're talking about martial law. What the frick? Yeah, I still support Trump. How can you, man? How can you support Trump? You know you would have condemned Obama. And he even makes that point. He's saying that Obama did things. He's basically saying if Hillary Clinton, this is his little thing that he goes over in this 49-minute video. Maybe we should watch it. I don't know. I just want to watch a couple minutes, though. Because it's pertinent. But he said if Hillary did the very things that Trump was doing, conservatives would be cocked and locked. Doc, I'm ready to rock. Like, who says that? Ted Nugent. They would be up in arms if Hillary Clinton was doing the things and shutting down businesses, even Anomaly. And guys, I've shown you in video after video, Trump has taken credit for shutting down the economy to save people from the you-know-what. Trump has taken credit for it. That comes out of Trump's mouth. He says he shut down the economy. Guys, only a tyrant would do that. As he criticizes Democratic governors for not opening up sooner. It's just a bunch. You know what you can expect from politics? But he's not a politician. He's a businessman. Yeah, keep telling yourself that. Keep deceiving yourself. Keep pacifying yourself and cuddling yourself with your own cognitive dissonance and your little security blanket as you seek your safe space. Any politician who says anything, even if it's good, is always going to be tainted with evil, which makes the whole thing just junk. So that's where Anomaly is right now. So Anomaly is on board with, hey, I got to identify this stuff. And this guy's getting offended because he thinks it's disrespectful. Later on in the conversation, Anomaly brings it around and asks this guy, what exactly do you have against me? He goes, well, I just thought you were disrespectful. And this guy didn't. This guy is such a jello man. And I'm not talking about the way he looks. I'm talking about he has a jello ideology. He doesn't have a bedrock from which to operate from. He's operating from a sand. He's got his foundation sunken in the quicksand. Here, I'm gonna leave the. There's the link right there. This is the link to this video. Listen to some of this, because actually Anomaly makes some good points, and he's actually making the very arguments that I'm going to be making against him on Saturday when we have our little conversation. And I really, really hope that, and this is all, for me, this is all about coming to the table with love and kindness and goodwill and trying to reach across the table and get a seed of truth that's going to actually germinate in Anomaly's heart. Because Anomaly has a huge, huge reach on Facebook. He's got 207 or 210,000 followers on YouTube. A lot of people follow him. He's got a lot of views. He's got a lot of influence, to such an extent that people are following Trump to this day because of him. He bears a lot of responsibility, just like anybody does with a large audience. So my goal is to, in the spirit of Samuel Adams, it's not the majority who will prevail, but the irate and tireless minority, keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. I want to set a brush fire of freedom inside of Anomaly, and at the same time, maintain a posture of correction where, if I'm wrong, come on, show me. Beat me up with the baseball bat surrounded by barbed wire of truth. Do it. I want to know. Where am I off? So listen to this.
They were finding people for protesting in New Jersey. I mean, it was bad at the beginning. I mean, it slightly opened up, but they closed down beaches. They closed down churches. Obviously, they closed down parks. I mean, I was literally trapped at my friend's house for like a month, and he was just kind of all compliments with them. And I know
he's talking about compliment. He's talking about Trump. The context, and he'll probably say it here in a second. He's talking about Trump complimenting the governor of New Jersey and the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. And he's basically calling it out while he finds it extremely distasteful. And it is. If Trump starts butting it up with the government, I can't remember the governor of New Jersey, he says it, but the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, if you're buddying up with these guys and they start saying good things about you, that's pretty disgusting to me.
I think he was doing business, but I'm thinking like I'm losing all my freedom. I had family losing jobs. And with the warp speed thing, he's talking about
in the context of Trump being the president under the umbrella of the Trump administration, I have lost all my freedoms. He was basically living with a friend in New Jersey or California somewhere, but he said basically I was locked in my own home for a month under the Trump regime.
I think from people who like Trump, obviously, I love Trump, but from people who like him, they want to, make a lot of excuses where on one hand, it's not his fault. It's the state's fault. He has no power. And then on the other hand, it's he's rushing it for the people who want it. And, they want to get it. So that's fine. Where it's like, the truth is, either way, it doesn't seem like he has power. And if he does, he's not using it or he can't use it, whatever it is.
Guys, what have we said? And that's exactly what Lysander Spooner said about the Constitution. Whether the Constitution be one thing or another, this much is certain. It's either authorized such a tyrannical government as we have, or it's been powerless to stop it. In either case, it's unfit to exist. So what about the president? Is he the leader of the free world or isn't he? Because if he is, then he should have the power to combat this tyranny and push it back and make room for freedom. If he doesn't have that power, then you guys are all lying to us saying he's the leader of the free world and the commander-in-chief of the U.S. Armed Forces when in fact he isn't. Either way, it doesn't do us any good and it doesn't advance the cause of freedom. So why would you ever vote for somebody who's not going to be the leader of the free world? And even if he becomes the leader of the free world, if he doesn't do anything to advance the cause of freedom, there's no sense in voting for that guy. That's why you vote, right? You want to create an atmosphere where you have the maximum amount of freedom you can possibly have. And if voting doesn't facilitate that, why on earth would anybody engage in it?
When Operation Warp Speed comes out, the first one who's going to have to get it is the military. And then they're going to pressure frontline workers to get it. And then because he doesn't have that much power, like in Florida, in certain, like say Costco or whatever, even though DeSantis has an anti-mask mandate, these multinational corporations, the airlines, they just don't listen. I watched someone get pulled off a plane in South Dakota, which was like shocking, but it's because United Airlines or Delta, they don't operate under the same rules. So what I see happening is he'll rush this through. He'll say he doesn't want anybody to get it mandatory, but he, at the same time, doesn't seem to be able to stop schools, events.
Did you hear what he said? And he's almost alluding to and implying that, Trump's saying that he's not going to make it mandatory. Guys, if you're trusting Trump not to make it mandatory, you have got your head in the sand. You're acting like a 2-year-old who's just trusting whatever anybody said. Well, he's a businessman. He said. But that politician, that figurehead puppet for the banking cartel said he wasn't going to make it mandatory, and I believed him. Woe is you. You're ignorant. You're ignorant of our history. And if you're ignorant of our history, you're doomed to repeat it. And those who desire to be ignorant and free desire what never was and what never shall be. So he's basically making a case to not be for Trump while he's for Trump. And he's basically chastising this guy for not criticizing Trump. It's like you're not going far enough. Let's say this. If you actually are unknowingly in a position where you have a large audience and you're influencing the minds of a whole bunch of people to be on board with somebody who might be a banking puppet, you're actually responsible for bringing evil into the world, bringing evil ideas that people latch onto because people listen to other people who have audiences. That's just human nature. They don't do their research. They just go, well, if Anomaly said it, he seems like a pretty cool guy. Like he's got a pretty chill spirit. I think I'll just go ahead and believe him, and I'll be a supporter from Donald Trump. Then Donald Trump starts issuing all this crap, and then they don't see it, and they don't call it out because, hey, they're already in the cult of personality, and, hey, I'm sitting here in this church, in this pew. I've checked in. I've got my ticket to the cult of personality. I'm cemented in my own cognitive dissonance. I've surrounded myself in my own cave-like echo chamber, and all I can really tolerate is what I want to hear, and I don't care about the truth anymore because that's what it amounts to. You either love freedom and hate all forms and shades of tyranny, or you don't. There is no dividing line, and there's no time for any kind of compromise at all, ever. Compromise is what's gotten us to this point right now where in 2020 we have been mostly locked down. Some states more than others. I'm thankful I'm in Oklahoma because I haven't really felt the brunt of any of the things that I've been hearing going on around the country, or in Australia, or in Canada, or in New Zealand, or in Germany.
Sports, states, cities, travel from implementing some sort of mandatory vaccine or certificate. And I just want to say, and I'll throw it back to you real quick, is he just retweeted Alan Dershowitz, the old Epstein lawyer, who's also worked, I think, for OJ. He's a very famous lawyer, constitutional lawyer. He retweeted him this week, and that exact lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, says that you have no right not to get a vaccine, citing a case from the 1900s where, he believes that the state and the government can actually mandate a vaccine legally and constitutionally. And as much as I agree where it's like, it's not all Trump's fault, I'm not going to say it's all. This idea that, he did a lot to fight it, or he's doing a lot to fight it, I just don't see it. As somebody who supports him, I feel like I felt underwhelmed in March, April, May, June, July, and still to this day, I feel like the fact that he doesn't want it to be mandatory is just not going to play a factor in if it is or not.
He actually he's making my case for him. It's almost like I'm on the other side of the screen and my voice is coming out of his mouth. He's actually saying the things that he needs to be listening to and going, hold on a second. He did retweet Alan Dershowitz in a positive light. Alan Dershowitz did say that the state has the right to take you to a government-funded medical facility and roll up your sleeve and plunge a needle into your arm against your will and without your consent, and do that to everybody in your household too, or quarantine you, take 100% of your rights away. And here's Donald Trump retweeting the tweet in a positive light of a very, very wicked man who wants to take away every bit of your freedoms. And you're still going to support that guy? I'll tell you what, if Obama did that, if Obama retweeted Dershowitz in a positive light, or Hillary Clinton, or John Podesta, he would be all over it. And he even admits it later on down the road. And this guy right here, it's hard for me to listen to this guy because he's so shifty. It's like I have a little bit more respect for Anomaly because you can almost see him trying to fight the demons, but his cognitive dissonance won't let him cross over and let go of Trump. Trump is banker bought. He's corporate bought. He's paid for to the tune of, as high as I've read, $4.2 billion, but at least $615 million with the Taj Mahal debacle. And bailed out by Rothschild's International Banking Cartel, Rothschild's Inc. with Wilbur Ross back in the 1990s. Guys, that's all you and I would need to know about Obama to know that he is not going to be working in the interest of the American people while he's there in his figurehead puppet position behind that oak desk or mahogany desk at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. We're going to listen to a little bit what this guy says. His arguments and his dialogue is so freaking weak, it's very difficult for me to listen to it. I'll fast forward to because I think the next segment is something we really need to hear from Anomaly.
Yeah, he did express on television, not everybody's going to want to take the vaccine. And one thing, that was reassuring because a lot of people were worried that he was going to switch on us with that. And then
So he's reassured with mere words from politicians. That is foolish. If you're going to let your heart be reassured from any man, let alone a frickin' politician, you are in some dire straits in your heart and in your mind. You are not solidified on truth and righteousness and morality, not even on the Constitution. Constitutionalists would bristle at what this guy just said.
Thing that really caught my eye was, I follow Bryson Gray on Twitter and Facebook and stuff. I'm restricted now. I have like a second and third account because they completely disabled my first one for life. But Trump shared a quote, a part of a Bryson Gray song where he's like, how about that Bill Gates vaccine? Nah, sorry, I'll pass. And it just seemed intentional, and it went straight into the hook where it's like, I'm a gun-toting patriot. So, it seemed intentional that he knows a lot of us aren't going to want to take some ridiculously rushed vaccine that, they don't have time to do the proper testing and stuff on it. So what do you think about the argument that he could be trying to push out a different vaccine distributed by the military as opposed to the one by Bill Gates with nanotechnology?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. So let me just paint a picture here. Yeah. We don't want Bill Gates vaccine, but we do want the Israeli-funded military-industrial complex vaccine. That's going to be better for us. This is just a pile of BS, man. There is a point to me showing this video, guys. This is very important. If you're coming in new, there's 792 people here. Thank you. First of all, thank you for joining. If you're new, if you just coming in, this guy on the right is Anomaly. Anomaly has about 210,000 subscribers on YouTube, probably close to 1 million, if not over 1 million followers on Facebook, 100-something thousand followers on Twitter. He's got a wide reach and influence. He has a very devoted audience. He's pro-Trump, but he also sees major problems with Trump, where he even acknowledges if Obama did the very things Trump did, then people would be rejecting Obama. And the guy on the left is somebody who is now a Trump follower because of Anomaly. And on Saturday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, I'm going to be... Well, people are calling it a debate. I'm going to be having a conversation with Anomaly, which I think is going to be very, very interesting because everything Anomaly is saying on this this podcast or whatever you want to call it, this live stream with this guy on the left, are some of the things that I'm going to bring up. And you can't take these issues lightly. If Trump is acting in an evil way against the interests of the American people and against liberty, then that's a guy who needs to be rejected. But Anomaly somehow finds it in his heart to not reject Donald Trump.
Drugs, like if you take any kind of pill.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, Bill Gates, I think he funded 7 or 8 vaccine companies. He's like got his hands tied in everything. But one of the big ones that he's invested in and has a big stake in, his foundation, is Moderna. And Moderna is going to be one of the first ones approved. And Trump's tweeting it out. So once again, I kind of feel like because people like Trump so much, they're just... And
another thing, Anomaly tweeted out Trump's tweet where he backed Moderna saying, hey, they're going to get emergency use authorization. Come on, speed it up, FDA. Anomaly saw through that, rightly so, and he got a lot of heat from his audience because he has trained his audience to just, I like Trump. I like Trump. He's got that I like Trump rap.
Willing to make up any excuse in their head, like, oh, he must be fighting that vaccine. But
man, I got to play this back because that is classic what he just said about Trump and Trump followers.
Moderna is going to be one of the first ones approved, and Trump's tweeting it out. So once again, I kind of feel like because people like Trump so much, they're just willing to make up any excuse in their head, like, oh, he must be fighting that vaccine. But he gave the vaccine industry $10 billion plus, I think, with opportunity.
$12 billion. He hit the nail right on the head, guys. I just feel like people like Trump so much that they ignore all that stuff, all that important stuff that's about to take away your freedom, and just like battery acid, just eat away at it a little bit and a little bit by what is it said, by 1,000 tiny, almost imperceptible reductions, until you look back and you go, well, I ain't going to be getting those back, because once they're gone, you don't easily get them back at all. So he sees it, but he just isn't willing to. The way I view this, and I'm not trying to be harsh here, but the way I view this is that he is not willing to take a firm stand for freedom because he's still checked into the cult of personality. It's almost like he has one foot outside the church of the cult of personality and one foot inside the church, the church of the cult of personality.
Operation Warp Speed, whether his intentions are or not, I just feel like they're going to be used against people who don't want to take it. And I saw the goalpost shift from say last year, and this is something I mentioned. Last year it was like Sweden is socialist, like we're America. Even I was like, listen, Sweden's cool, but I don't want to go there. It's too socialist for me.
Right.
And then this year you have Trump in June basically saying Sweden went for herd immunity. So now the goalpost shifted from like Trump saying, and Charlie Kirk types, socialism sucks, to like, we're better than Sweden because we locked down and they didn't lock down. So like the Overton window shifted from like capitalism to like communism light.
And that's classic Trump, man. He will turn coat on you like that. If you don't speak Trump's language and stay in Trump's corner no matter what, you become Trump's enemy. It's just like any psychopath though, and any sociopath like Obama or Biden. It's like any of those guys. Hey, you're not speaking according to me. It's like mainstream media. Hey, you don't speak according to our narrative. Well, you must be fake news. You must be misleading the people. You're engaged in misinformation and you need to be censored.
I just don't see it. And I feel like, a lot of patriots that normally would be like, wait, like if Hillary did Operation Warp Speed, I just feel like 100% of people would be like, no way. But if Trump does it, and I understand why, because it's like, who else do you trust in the government besides Trump? But like,
see, there you go. He just acknowledged that if Hillary did the exact same thing that Trump did, or that Trump is doing, they would completely reject her and see her for the deep state operative she is. But they're not going to do that about Trump. Why? Cognitive dissonance, cult of personality.
I saw like Graham Allen, not to pick on him. He seems like a nice guy. He's doing great work. I don't follow him, so I don't want to knock it. But he's like bragging about Operation Warp Speed, like Jim Jordan's bragging about Operation Warp Speed. And I'm just thinking to myself, have you really read it? And maybe these things are going to be fantastic. Maybe it's great, but I just really hate to see the Constitution just not being followed, church and stuff closed. And then it's like, we have to wait. Like maybe Trump's doing this or that. And I guess that's been my attitude, and maybe it doesn't come off great on Twitter sometimes, but I'm like, I don't really care what he's doing. I don't care what game they're playing, because they're playing a game with our First Amendment. They're playing a game with the kids. You mentioned your brother and drugs. Like I know someone that I'm almost positive they went they lost it a little bit because they were someone who had problems in and out, but they also were really great workers, and they shut down their job, and right. It's just messed up. And this is just one small event. So it's like, I'm into 8 months, and that's why I'm looking at stuff. I'm like, I just feel like this is the same story on loop, and not a lot of progress has been made.
I'm feeling like this is the same story on loop. You know why? Because this is the same story on loop. And you've chosen to go for Trump, and you've chosen, even these guys who are Anomaly would call himself a constitutionalist. You have to abandon even the Constitution. I'm not advocating being a constitutionalist, because I advocate for freedom. The Constitution isn't about freedom. It's about keeping you in bondage to your slavery and in the cult of personality. And that's exactly where he is. He is bound tight in the cult of personality, and he cannot get out. And so my goal when I talk to Anomaly on Saturday is to set those brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. If I am wrong, I want to know it, because my objective is truth. Truth fears no scrutiny, and bring the scrutiny on. Bring the scrutiny on. I don't have a higher claim over your life and property than you. It's always wrong to initiate unjust force and violence on peaceful people who haven't done anything wrong. And anybody who violates the golden rule of doing to others what they wouldn't want done to you, or conversely not doing to others what they wouldn't want done to them, is being a garbage pail human being and should be rejected. So that's what's going on Saturday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, either on a live stream. And I'll let you guys know as we get closer. If I still have capability of live stream on YouTube, that'll be my go-to. Otherwise, I will be doing it on DLive. And if you're not subscribed to me on Twitter or Gab, I need to use Gab more. Follow me at HighImpact Flicks on Twitter. It's HighImpact Flicks on Twitter, and on Library and on BitChute. But I will let everybody know via Twitter when exactly it's going to be and what platform I'm going to be using when I talk to Anomaly. And again, I'm coming out of a heart of love for Anomaly, but an intolerance for every shade of tyranny. Because if I accept tyranny into my life, then there's a good chance that my family is going to accept tyranny into their lives, and anybody who listens to me might accept tyranny. Time for compromise is over. The best shot we got at getting out of this thing is standing firm on truth, is putting our foundation on the bedrock of that which is moral and that which is right. Stop being a conformist. Those people who do what they're told regardless of what is right, instead of doing what is right regardless of what they're told. This is a literal battle between good and evil. It really is. Whether you're religious or not, there are evil things in the world and there are good things in the world. And this is evil. Tyranny is evil that we need to reject in all its forms. So, okay, enough of that. Saturday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, debate/conversation with Anomaly, either on YouTube or on DLive. Hey, if you enjoy this content and you want to be notified every time I upload a video, just hit the subscribe button and that bell notification icon. And if you want to support this channel, one of the best ways you can do that is by liking and sharing this video with everybody you know everywhere you can on social media. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my private free email list through my website, HighImpactFlix.com, and I have another website called HighImpactTV.com, where I'll be uploading censor-free, undiluted, unvarnished truth videos that are not messed with and tampered with by third-party tyrants and censorship lovers. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video. Guys, we already know that they want to decimate the dollar, destroy the economy, bring us into a cashless society, and eventually make it difficult for us to even get food. That's why I constantly promote My Patriot Supply. Every chance I get, I turn my fiat currency notes into long-term storable food. This stuff is awesome. It's got a 25-year shelf life. And one thing we're all going to need is storable food. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. With my link in the description, you get $100 off of every order instantly. It'd be a good idea to order it while you can, because I'm not sure how much longer they're going to be able to ship this out. My link for your $100 off discount is in the description below.